Hello, everyone. Welcome to JSA TV, where we are covering the latest stories, trends, and innovations from the digital infrastructure industry. We are live at DCD, Virginia, and this is our very first interview. So we're starting it off strong here with Manny Morales, a new senior director of hyperscale at CleanArc Data Centers, just 2 months into a new gig. And this is what, your second event for under the CleanArc umbrella?
Second event this week.
Yeah, incredible. Just got back from
Third
the
under
video.
the CleanArc umbrella.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm very excited to chat with you and
Yes.
to meet you today.
Pleasure to be here, Candace.
Yeah, absolutely. So, first of all, we'll just very easy question. Congrats on your new role.
Thank
2
you.
months in.
Thank you.
And
Very excited about it.
yeah, so tell me why you are excited about it. What brought you to CleanArc?
Well, first of all, it's a great question. It can be answered in many ways, but I focus on the people first of all, right? The leadership, the experience amongst the team members, including myself, and the ability to come to a company that can say yes right now, building that data center of the future today, to use our tagline, but the ability to actually deliver the solutions that our hyperscale clients, our AI focused customers are looking for today, rather than deal with scarcity, capacity, and other challenges come with a more mature, established environment.
Amazing. Love that. And short and sweet, you got to the point. You know how to do it. You're a great first
Which
interview.
is very rare if you know me. My answers typically contain a lot of stories and colors, but I'm trying to keep it short and to the point for you.
We'll take those two. Those two. All right. So, like you said, it's your third event under CleanArc.
Yes.
But you're second this week. So you just got back from NVIDIA GTC,
Yes.
which of course is a huge event. And then this one is very bustling, is very, drilled in on that data center digital infrastructure layer. So what are the conversations that you're hearing just across the events you've been to so far? What are you kind of excited to be talking to people about right now?
Well, first of all, it's an absolute privilege to be and to have a front seat in some of the dialogues that are taking place and that I am participating in as part of what's going on now. This huge AI expansion, right? This high performance computing expansion to support, from an infrastructure perspective, our appetite for capacity and for the growth of AI. So first of all, it's great to have that seat. What really stands out to me right now is that CleanArc is being invited to this, right? That we have earned our seat at that table as a small, nascent developer, that we are bringing enormous value in how we're dealing with our new design and new development of hyperscale campuses. First of all, here in Virginia with our VA1 campus, where we've broken ground or about to break ground in the next few weeks, and for what we're going to be doing in the future. What we're saying and what we're doing are in sync. That's important to our clients. They're in line with what our customers are looking for. And they're asking us to do more, not just to build and to lease, but also to go out and help them design and help them develop and help them manage, in some cases down to the leasing of their own assets, et cetera. So our core expertise has really earned us a seat at that table. And it's absolutely a blast to be able to sit there and participate and contribute to that.
I love it. Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, congrats on the groundbreaking.
Thank you. Yeah, we're very, very excited about that. Not only that, but we're excited about what's coming in the future and what you'll hear more through the end of the year and in 2026 about what we're going to do in other parts of the United States.
Amazing. Well, that was my last question for you, is if you could give us any insight into what you're looking ahead to for next year. But I know, you probably can't get into a lot of detail, but if there's anything else you'd like to tell our viewers, now is the time.
I would say is pay attention, look at our press releases, follow us on LinkedIn and other places. You're going to hear some really special things that go just beyond, and I don't want to minimize the impact and importance of new campuses, new land that we'll be acquiring, and new builds that will be gigawatt plus campuses like we're establishing in VA1, but other forms of actually serving the market and serving our customer base, our tenant base in the hyperscale world. Where that leads, we think we know. I think we are small, nimble, and easy to do business with, so we can adjust as we go along to the needs of our customers. But you're going to hear some interesting things come 2026, and we're really, really excited to share those.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have you on JSA TV sometime in 2026, and you can give us the latest.
Look forward to talking about it in more detail.
Yes.
Perhaps
amazing.
even with names.
Yes,
Yes.
I love that. Okay, great. Well, it's great to meet you, Manny, and thank you so much for your inaugural JSA TV interview.
It's
I'm
an
sure there will be
absolute
many
pleasure,
more.
Candace. Thank you. Thank you for rescuing me from the registration line.
Right. It is long right now.
A real pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all to all of our viewers for hanging out with us live at DCD Virginia for our first interview. There's many more to come throughout the day, so hang out with us here, and happy networking, everyone. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to JSA TV live from DCD, Virginia at the Lansdowne Resort in Leesburg. Very excited to be here. It's absolutely gorgeous. I don't know how DCD, Virginia always gets the best weather every year, it seems like. They order it up. It's amazing. But anyway, I'm really happy to be here with Lindsay Hanley, Mission Critical Sector Leader with HED. So as we always do on JSA TV, we're going to be talking about some stories, trends, and innovations going on in digital infrastructure right now. So, Lindsay, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me today. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. So let's dive right in. So
Let's jump in.
yeah, first of all, if you could set the stage a little bit, tell us a little bit about HED and your role leading the mission critical market sector for HED. So what's that like?
Yeah, absolutely. So HED, for anyone that doesn't know, we are a national integrated practice. We offer all design services in-house, everything except for civil. So our process has really been built on kind of navigating and bringing all the players together at the table at the same time, which sets us apart from some of our competitors, and that there's no one voice that's louder than another. So that's pretty exciting. And then my role within HED is to really act as kind of a client advocate and client relationship management. So my job is sort of twofold. A little bit of understanding what is happening with trends in the market. Where are we going? How does that impact our clients? How does that impact our project teams? What decisions do we need to make so that we can best support our clients, and what changes might impact how we produce our work and provide our services?
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you're getting all the great intel on what's going on in the industry and bring
I
back to your
am.
clients. And
Yeah.
we'll dig into that a
It's
little bit.
exciting time.
So one of those things, I don't want to call it a trend, but a huge, important piece of the puzzle right now when it comes to data center design is sustainability.
Absolutely.
So can you tell us a little bit about how that works at HED? Of course, you all are integrating some incredible sustainable practices. So what are a couple of the highlights there?
Yeah, totally. So I think for HED specifically, sustainability has really become a part of who we are. We bring it into sort of our integrated practice and our project kickoff. We talk about it from the very beginning as part of our goals, strategies, and results. And that really drives with our clients and all of our team members and their operations staff on the client side. What are the targets that we're trying to hit? What are they looking for in a project? Because with sustainability, you can't do it in silos. There's no one size fits all. You have to kind of hit it from a lot of different angles to get the most bang for your buck, I guess I would say. So with our clients right now, what we're really focusing on is how can they incorporate modular solutions, or how can they offset their carbon footprint by exploring other materials other than just concrete, and things like that. How can they, work with their site selection, and what are their opportunities for maybe efficiencies on the cooling systems with economization? How many hours can they get? Things like that. So it's a combination of things that goes in, and it really drives success if we do it early with everyone involved, and then use that as the process to guide us throughout the whole design.
Amazing. Well, I'm glad you all are thinking about that from so many different angles, because somebody needs to be. And
Definitely. It's really important.
It is very important. So thank you for that. And then, so we talked a little bit about trends earlier. Of course, we're all here today at DCD Virginia talking about how we can make not just data center design, but operations, everything data center related better, right? So what are some trends and technologies that you're seeing that you're excited about for next generation data centers?
Definitely. So I think some of the things that our clients are really excited about right now are sort of twofold, right? So much is changing in the market right now, and incorporating solutions that are going to be smart so that they're future proof, so they're not designing for something now that may become irrelevant in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years due to the changes in technology. I think is really important. So I think that's one aspect that we're really looking at with clients. And then liquid cooling obviously is a big one, and that really I think is specific to the emergence of AI, right? So AI is big, it's here, it's growing, everyone's talking about it. It's kind of a unique scenario because it's a different compute environment that we've seen before. So there was enterprise and co-location and cloud, and that's still going to be there, but AI has a different set of parameters. So when we think about that next generation, it's solving different problems with higher density cooling and incorporating like liquid cooling. And that sometimes gets a bad rap, right? Because you think it would be strained on water resources. But I think what's important to know there is that we're talking about a closed loop system. So I think it goes to educating people that while it may be talked about, it's not necessarily bad. And water is a really efficient means to dissipate heat. So that's something that's big. And then I think it gets really exciting with these density and changes in load and things like that. There's going to be a lot of new solutions and innovation that come out as we respond to this one. And AI doesn't have to have the same geographic footprint as some of the major cloud data centers do. So that will result in new geographies that get explored and tertiary markets that weren't previously considered. So it's a really interesting time for innovation right now, I would say. And I think as more gets discovered, that will tie back into some of the existing project types as well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've hit on a lot of the big keywords, I think.
topics.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we've got AI, closed loop liquid cooling, sustainability, of course. And so I think it'd be interesting for the audience to end on talking about collaboration a little bit, which of course is, bringing in the kind of people aspect that
Definitely.
is so critical. So you had mentioned earlier across HED all of the different teams that you have involved. And of course, projects are becoming increasingly more complex with AI. So how would you say that you're kind of fostering collaboration across different teams?
Definitely. I mean, our process at HED is a holistic one in that we do have all the teams in-house, so that's a little bit unique. But I think for us, it's really understanding what are the problems and the drivers and how do we work together early and kind of space plan for those things. I touched a little bit on future-proofing, but to me, that's really, really a big one because that has the longest long-term impact. So making decisions that maybe we're talking with the structural engineers early and understanding from an electrical and mechanical standpoint, what are some of those potential future loads that they're going to see with the higher density racks that we maybe don't know about yet because the technology is just changing so fast? Do you over design your structure so you have higher capacity for floor loading and ceiling loading in the future so that you're not stuck in a decision that in 5 years' time is irrelevant? Because the least sustainable solution is knocking a building down or not being able to use it for its intended purpose, right? So that's, I think, a big one is kind of thinking through, and are there ways to incorporate modular design so you're not so stuck on maybe one solution now? It can change in the future if you have more of a plug and play attitude about it. And so I think having all the players focusing on the similar design constraints and aspects and what we're trying to target and how we can solve for that makes for a better product in the end.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. It's been
yes.
great to be here.
Absolutely. And I wish you an amazing full first day of
Thank you.
DCD Virginia. I know there's a lot in store today. I'm really excited about everything that we're going to learn over the next couple of days. And I was excited to learn about HED. So thank you so much. Thank you to
so
our
much
viewers.
for having us.
Absolutely. And thank you, viewers, for hanging out with us here live at DCD Virginia. Happy networking, everyone. We'll see you around. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another live interview here at DCD Virginia in Leesburg, just not too far from Data Center Alley. And we are talking all things data centers at this event. First day of the event. Very excited to have a repeat JSA TV guest. He joined us at DCD New York not too long ago. So we've got Jim Marsh, who is Director of Key Accounts for Munters Data Center Technologies. Thanks for coming back to hang with us.
Well, Candace, it's great to be here, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited to talk about what Munters has going on lately, which is quite a lot, actually, in your data center division. So, first of all, you recently celebrated the 1-year anniversary of your partnership with GeoClima. So, can you just look back on that first year of partnership a little bit and tell us some of the key highlights?
Sure. It was very exciting news in 2024 when we learned that we were going to be acquiring a chiller manufacturer, because we've been selling heat absorption, which is the fan arrays and the CDUs, but we didn't have the complete system, not having the heart, which is the chiller. So when we discovered we were getting a chiller manufacturer, and then to learn it was GeoClima with its innovative design, it paralleled what Munters has brought to market. And so the benefits that we've seen over the last year and the impact has been the combined team between GeoClima and Munters Data Center Technologies, personnel and products. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. So we've now got a footprint globally. We had acquired EdPac in Ireland in 2022, which gave us a nice foothold in Europe and sort of the global market. Now with GeoClima, we have a plant in Italy and we have a plant in Thailand. We have sales offices in Spain, Italy, UK, Ireland, Australia, and Thailand. So again, able to service. And we were just rolling out our Circlemizer chiller, which we're going to talk about in a minute, globally. So
Right.
that's the big change has been the combined teams, production, just and markets.
Yeah, so tell us about that a little bit. So your Circlemizer chiller has been called the most efficient solution for AI workloads. So what are maybe some metrics or some anecdotes that you can tell us that would kind of support that?
Yes. So the Circlemizer primarily is named for its circular condensers. So when you look at it, it's a different looking chiller. GeoClima has built every flavor of chiller out there relative to air-cooled, water-cooled, free cooling with evaporative. So there's a lot of different ways to chill water. But what we've landed on, especially for the North American market, is Circlemizer because of its very efficient performance and a very compact footprint. And relative to today's designs, the buildings are so dense that the more heat rejection you can put in a footprint, just like heat absorption, the more you can pack into a white space. You want to be able to match that with the more you can pack on a roof or in a field to reject heat into the atmosphere. The way that we do that is through innovations, not only the circular condenser. When we say circular, it means it's a cylinder instead of a V-bank. And we have about 45% more surface area, which is what you want for heat exchange. It also allows us a smaller footprint so that we can put more chillers, the same capacity in a smaller footprint. And we also have what's called a cascade flooded evaporator. And that's where we transfer the heat from the water loop into the refrigerant that goes through the compressors. And that cascade, instead of having a single pass evaporator, allows us to have a closer evaporator temperature to leaving water temperature, which is a goal of chiller performance. Some of the metrics that we can reference, that the market can reference, is what we call kW per ton. So the amount of power that a Circlemizer uses per ton of cooling, one is sort of the mark of decent performance. If you're under 1 with kW per ton, you're in a good spot. Our range, depending on water temperature, ambient temperature, is from less than 0.7 to less than 0.1. So we talk about kW per ton in that higher range, it's going to be our high temp. So we're able to apply our chillers to ambience as high as 135 degrees Fahrenheit. And that again is a metric that the market is looking for more and more, is to be able to reject heat in a market like Phoenix,
Yeah.
and factoring in heat recirculation, so they call it heat islanding. These are all things that the more dense data centers have to deal with on a daily basis.
Right. So you're figuring out these really tough challenges when it comes to the AI data center revolution, right?
And the numbers that everybody looks at is PUE.
Mm-hmm.
So our PUEs range from, and this is peak PUE, which means on a design day at a critical load, the range is from less than 1.2 to less than 1.3, which again is very good. If you look at a scroll compressor, and we didn't even talk about the compressors in the Circlemizer, it is a turbo core, which is magnetic bearing, oil free, and very, very peak energy efficient and operationally efficient. That's really the core of Circlemizer.
Amazing. Well, thank you for telling our audience a little bit more about Circlemizer and about Geoclima and the exciting news going on there. So one last question, which is we always like to, our guests in the hot seat, ask them a little bit about what's going on for next year. And so looking ahead to some, strategic priorities, innovations, trends coming up for 2026 in the industry and for Munters, what comes to mind?
It's a fair question. And I moderate a lot of panels, and there's always that last, what do you see coming?
Exactly.
And we already know what's coming. There's such unprecedented demand right now. There are some simple things that we all need to work on together as an industry, being supply chain, being technology diversity, because during the last supply chain crunch during COVID, there was a lot of issues with getting chips. So the electronic components that go into variable speed motors, drives, there was a point where you couldn't buy spare parts because everything was going into new construction. And I anticipate that's going to happen again. And you can't really predict what is coming, but the more diversity that you have in the supply chain, the better. So that's everything from raw material. I mean, tariffs adds a whole new wrinkle with, sometimes unknowable impacts. Other things that we're looking at right now is increased capacities. So increased capacities not only of production. We're building our new building in Daleville, Virginia right now. We have a 350,000 square foot plant in Daleville that just opened in November of 22, and we're adding another 200,000 square feet that's going to be open at the end of Q2 of this 26 coming up.
Amazing.
But we're also going to have to look at integrated features. So in CDUs, things like filling stations, glycol filling stations, or water quality monitoring. There's things that there are third parties that do that, but the manufacturer is going to need to bring more and more into the solution, combined with services. So services such as continuing maintenance and emergency service. So that's what I anticipate for Munters coming up in 2026.
Incredible. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for joining us on JSA TV again and for sharing some insights with us. I know you go to a bunch of these events and you hear everything going on in the industry. So it's incredible to just take some time and sit down and hear from you.
Yeah.
And thank you to our viewers for hanging out with us for another live interview here at DCD Virginia. Happy networking, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Candace.
Thank you. Hey everyone, welcome back for another live JSA TV interview here at DCD Virginia in Leesburg, where of course we are covering the latest stories, trends, and innovations all about digital infrastructure and data centers specifically today. So we have a repeat guest. Thank you for coming back.
Thanks, Candace. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we've got Bill Severn here, CEO and president of 1623 Farnham and longtime data center industry, just wealth of information, I would say. So we always
Thank you.
Yes, we always enjoy having you on JSA TV to hear the latest about what's going on in your neck of the woods.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, you were actually on a panel here at DCD Virginia at 11:15, right?
That's
So
right. That's right. Yep.
right after this. So
Yep.
it is called "How Much Is Too Much Generative AI?" So that should be a good one. So can you start off by telling us a little bit about 1623 Farnham's role in AI edge inference nodes?
Yeah, it's a really great question. If I think about AI and what we're talking about there, in my world, I look at AI as content. And the content is really no different than consumers consuming Microsoft 365, or if they're watching a Netflix show, or Thursday night NFL football on Amazon. It's content. They're consuming it. So content at the edge meets eyeballs. And with Farnham, we're 40 plus broadband providers in the building, 60 plus carriers. So we're the perfect spot for AI content to reach the edge. Now, the second part of that is in the media, all you hear is training AI and inference AI, right? Because that's the sexy buzzword, because we're buying 50 or 100 megawatts at a time and someone's selling that much.
Yeah.
So that's an easy story. What we really don't hear about is the network component. And as an interconnection facility, we're the network component that delivers all that content, whether it be training or inference, to the eyeballs and the consumers.
Amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
You explained it in a way that even I can understand. So thank you. And so we are also, of course, at DCD Virginia talking a lot about hyperscaler demands. That's one of the big topics, and how that's reshaping metro architectures. So how is that showing up in the form of fiber upgrades, interconnection strategies, and new connectivity routes for you all?
Yeah, really good question. And 2025 has been an incredible year. We're seeing a number of metro fiber routes being built, new middle mile routes being built, and long haul routes, both northwest or north, south, east, and west. And in just 2025 alone at Farnham, we've added over 5,000 new fibers into the building.
Wow.
On these new routes, with more to come. And it just doesn't stop with the new fiber routes outside of the building. AI is driving a lot of connectivity in the building. And in 2025, we've added 5,000 new fibers from the Meet Me room to client cabinets and cages. So it's here.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's some credible numbers.
Yeah.
So, okay, last but not least, we always like to look ahead a little bit as a last question with our clients, or with our guests on JSA TV. So how have client engagements changed for you this year? And how do you anticipate that further changing maybe next year?
Yeah, so I'm really good at forecasts. A year ago, I sat here and said 1623 Farnham is 18 months out from any AI in the building. And 2025 was the year of AI engagement.
Right.
And we have a number of AI clients in the building today. So I really missed that one.
Well, it's your chance. It's your chance to make up for it now.
If I think about, we talked about AI being content. I think that 2026 is really driving the peering aspect of AI and trying to get the content into or closer to the edge so that it's, as latency specific applications in AI become available, they need to be closer to the edge.
Right. Perfect. I love it.
Right.
And you kept it simple. So we'll check in again next DCD Virginia and see.
Sounds great.
You see about that and see your 2027 goals and predictions. So keep tuned here, you all, for more predictions, more interviews, and more trends for the digital infrastructure industry. Thank you, Bill, for joining us.
Candace, thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you to all of our viewers for hanging out with us for another live interview. Happy networking, everyone. We'll see you soon. Hey everyone, welcome back to another live interview here at DCD Virginia in Leesburg. We are covering the latest stories, trends, and innovations in the digital infrastructure industry. And I'm Candace Sipos with JSA, your host today. I'm very excited to be joined by Joey Huffam, CEO of Trangistics. Thank you for joining us today, Joey.
Of course.
So let's dive right in. So we've got a few quick questions for you. So at Trangistics, you're a specialized logistics partner. And so how does that kind of help folks to get involved with a partner like you early in the process when we're talking about these large scale projects like data centers?
Well, if you don't start planning logistics early in the process, the whole schedule can get derailed down the line. It's really important to do things like give input for design for material that's going into a data center or a semiconductor fab, and there's some examples where we provided some input and it's actually affected the design on the front end so that logistics and transportation down the road are more effective. For example, we had a recent client that wanted to build a module that was over 55 feet, which we can do, we can handle, but it complicates things like becomes more expensive because you need escorts and all kinds of things, as well as the availability of equipment for trucks. There's a smaller pool of equipment available for things like that. So getting us in early helps mitigate a lot of issues down the road.
Amazing. And so on the flip side of that, talking about, those issues, what are some of the negative impacts? Budget, schedule, equipment safety, when logistics planning is delayed or maybe underestimated?
Well, there's a lot of direct costs associated with bad logistics planning, if at all. So, for example, if there's a delay in material that comes from a vendor to the job site, crews can actually be waiting. So there could be large crews waiting to install a piece of equipment. And so you're clocking overtime costs, maybe reorganization, moving those crews somewhere else while they're waiting for gear to come in. So there's a direct cost there. But at the same time, then there's a kind of an indirect cost with your relationship with your client. Because if you're not fulfilling the schedule, you're causing issues with your client. So it's kind of the direct cost, and then there's kind of indirect cost associated with it.
Yeah, and both being very critical. So that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so can you talk a little bit about how your model provides a superior alternative to the fragmented logistics approaches that some folks are using?
Part of the issue that's common in today's kind of model for general contractors is that they push all the responsibility for logistics down to vendors and trades. And what that does is it causes chaos out in the industry because each vendor is now trying to push their products to the job site whenever they want. And they're not really looking at the overall master schedule for a project. So they could be pushing material when they're not ready, or material comes in late, and then there's all kinds of delays. So it's critical that you kind of orchestrate all the components together, and that's kind of what we do. We start at the vendor when the product is ordered, and then track it all the way through kind of the life cycle until it's delivered to the job site. And that gives us a little bit better control of communication with all the different groups that are involved, as well as make the logistics more efficient. So lowers the cost, lowers the risk to the general contractors and to the owners, and it just makes things go more smoothly.
Amazing. And I imagine with AI and hyperscale demand, all of this is just that much more important, right?
Huge, because these projects are massive these days. When you're talking about the size of 10 Costas, for a building, there's all kinds of trades involved, and so the communication gets very complex. Materials coming in and managing the materials becomes very complex. And so it is imperative that you have somebody that is there to glue all the pieces together and make sure that everybody is cohesive.
Amazing. Incredible. Well, thank you so much for telling us, a little bit about what you've got going on and what are the challenges that you're seeing. So this has been a great interview, and thank you to our viewers for hanging out with us for another live interview here at DCD Virginia. Happy networking, everyone. We will see you back here.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another live interview here at DCD Virginia in Leesburg. I'm Candace Sipos, your host today for JSA TV. We are covering the latest stories, trends, and innovations in the digital infrastructure community. So, of course, we had to speak with Sabre Industries. We are here with Tim Rossetti, CEO and President of Sabre. Thank you for joining us here today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we're just going to dive right in, and it's day one of DCD Virginia. There's a lot of talk going on right now about all of the innovations and challenges and solutions in the industry. So, and you've got some on that topic to contribute as well. So you all have long been known for your expertise in engineered, integrated enclosures and prefabricated solutions. So can you talk a little bit about how these innovations are helping your customers?
Sure. First, again, thank you for having me. Obviously, really exciting time right now in the industry, a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
We're excited to support that growth. So when you think about our engineered equipment enclosure solutions, they're really designed with three things in mind. So one is speed, two is quality, and three is reliability. And the way we did that is first taking our engineered structural competencies and capabilities and partner that up with electrical integration and then manufacturing all under one roof. And that's really given us the ability to provide a turnkey solution that's fully integrated, that arrives at site and is ready to be deployed. And so when you think about traditional construction methodologies, you typically are involving several different contractors. There's on-site integration required or coordination, and that creates an opportunity for schedule delays as well as variations in quality. So our solution compresses that timeline by taking that complexity out of the field and does it in a controlled manufacturing environment. We not only install, but we also integrate and test all of our solutions in the factory before it leaves. So when it arrives, it's place and plug and play, and you can execute. And in the digital infrastructure world that we live in, every day matters.
Yes.
So being able to deliver not only reliable solutions, but on time and deployable at multiple sites is critically important.
Yeah, reliable solutions on time, deployable at multiple sites. Yeah,
Yeah.
that deserves a stating second, I think. So, also, you have a history in the battery energy storage sector. And so you're bringing that knowledge now to the data center or telecom sector. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So we've deployed over 13 gigawatts of battery energy storage enclosure solutions. So with that experience, we really figured out what's important to our customers. And at the end of the day, it's reliability and scalability. And so with decades of experience integrating equipment enclosures for multiple solutions, starting off from telecom, moving to battery energy storage, and now data center, we're able to take a comprehensive view of structural engineering, manufacturability, but then also integration, thermal management, fire suppression systems into a one-stop shop solution for our customers. And when you think about, again, what's important, reliability and uptime are non-negotiables in this world.
Right.
And so having a solution that can be deployed and replicated in multiple sites creates a lot of value and ultimately is what our customers depend on us for.
Right. Amazing. I love that. And well said. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we're talking a lot here at DCD Virginia about growing demand, hyperscale demand, AI demand, demand from everywhere, right? For critical infrastructure. So can you talk a little bit a bit about the trends that are driving your clients' needs right now among this growing demand world?
Yeah, so if you think about it in the three segments that we serve, on the data center side, clearly cloud computing, AI is driving a tremendous need for data center capacity and comprehensive solutions that can be deployed at scale. And so those power dense solutions, the UPS systems are what we're providing. If you think about the telecom side, right, data continues to explode. The data center data needs to be able to connect, and so driving a solution that can help provide that connectivity for the 5G backbone of the U.S. infrastructure. And then lastly, on the utility side, our business not only supports just the infrastructure of the power transmission, but also how that power is connected and supporting the tremendous growth we're seeing here. So it's really exciting when you're looking at three different avenues of explosive growth that's driving the demand and is allowing us to participate in supporting that growth.
Yeah, absolutely. And so one of those avenues, of course, of explosive growth being AI. So we, of our last question always has to be about AI, I think, because everybody's talking about it right now.
Right.
So it's reshaping nearly every sector, including the way that we design and operate infrastructure, digital infrastructure. So how is widespread adoption of AI impacting Sabre as a company right now?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at AI, if you look at how that's changing the way infrastructure is designed, the way it's operated, and how it's going to be built into resiliency, we need as an organization to think about differently. How do we deploy those technologies or those processes to improve our customer experience? And so, a couple of the areas that we're in the early innings of is looking at computational analysis around engineering and structural loads, and how can we optimize designs leveraging AI. We're also looking at manufacturability, the predictive or preventative type controls or analysis that we can look at to say, hey, we need to change something or do some preventative maintenance to keep our uptime and to perform better. Ultimately, I think what we're going to look at is where is the opportunity to create the most value for our customers leveraging AI, and that's where we're going to focus.
Amazing. Well, that's a great note to end on, I think. So thank you so much for joining us on JSA TV, Tim. And thank you for telling us more about Sabre Industries and what we've got going on. Of course, you'll be around at DCD Virginia if anybody wants to connect. And thank you to our viewers for hanging out with us here live at DCD Virginia. Happy networking, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey everyone, welcome back to JSA TV here live at DCD Virginia. I'm Candace Sipos, your host today from JSA, and we are covering the latest stories, trends, and innovations in the digital infrastructure industry, as we always do. So I am very pleased to be joined by Stephen LaFale from Tecogen, VP of Business Development. Thanks for joining us again.
Awesome. Glad to be back. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll just start off strong. We actually haven't talked much on JSA TV this morning yet about natural gas. So that's a good first question. Differentiate us a little bit. So what are the overall advantages, would you say, of using natural gas in the cooling strategy in general for data centers?
Yeah, so the single biggest advantage I think is significantly increasing your IT capacity at a given site, right? So the industry has a big PUE problem. And I think when we hear people talk about PUE, they're often talking about annualized average PUE because those numbers can be pretty low and impressive, and people are doing a lot of great things from an efficiency standpoint. But the one thing they haven't really been able to solve for is the peak PUE, right? So the industry average peak PUE is still around 1.5. So if we think about what that means is you have 100 megawatts coming into your site, you're only going to get 66 megawatts of IT capacity out of that site. And frankly, that's abysmal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So of those 34 megawatts that you can't use for IT, most of that is going to power electric cooling equipment. And it's going to use most of that power on the hottest day of the year, right? It's kind of the dirty little secret about electric chillers is that they use twice as much power on design day than they do normally. So you're really solving for this hockey stick curve. And what you end up with is a bunch of stranded IT capacity in your chiller plant, right? So what Tecogen can help you do is leverage natural gas, another energy source in your chillers, so that, for example, when it gets really hot out, you could automatically shift to natural gas and not use electricity. And now you're talking about, instead of allocating 30 megawatts to cooling, maybe you're only allocating 15 megawatts to cooling. So now your peak PUE is, instead of 1.5, it's 1.2. And that 15 extra megawatts of IT capacity is worth $30 million a year in extra revenue for a data center.
Wow. Well, that's an incredible way to prove the point that you're trying to make. So great number to have in your back pocket there. That's awesome. So, okay. And how would you say that Tecogen's dual power source chillers are enhancing operational flexibility, resiliency, some of the big keywords that we hear that we need a lot of right now, right? During grid outages in particular.
Yeah, so from an operational flexibility standpoint, we're the only chiller that gives you that ability to use two different energy sources in your cooling. So you don't necessarily have to use natural gas all the time. You can use it strategically, like we talked about, to reduce your peak PUE. It also helps you engage in energy cost arbitrage, right? So as electric rates continue to increase, and they generally get very expensive during peak times in the summer when not just data centers need the cooling, but every grid user is running their air conditioning systems.
Right.
You're seeing punitive time of use charges come into play. So that's also happens to be the time when the natural gas system has the most extra capacity on our entire grid, right? It's also the time when natural gas is the most cost effective, right? Natural gas tends to go up in price in the winter because of the heating needs in the country. So it gives you that flexibility on utility costs. From a resiliency standpoint, you can back up our chiller with a diesel generator just like you can with an electric chiller, but we also have an integrated natural gas backup, which no other chiller has two sources of backup, right? So that really sets us apart.
Amazing. Okay, incredible. Well, thank you for that. And one last question for you while you're in the hot seat here. What is your typical ROI period for your natural gas chillers and data centers?
Yeah, great question. So we're looking at probably a simple payback of 1 year, maybe a year and a half at most. So it's really fast. And that's just simply because, for every megawatt that we can free up, that's worth $2 million a year in revenue. So that pays back our premium over a traditional status quo chiller really quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, the average lease rate right now is $150 to $180 per kilowatt month. So that's worth a lot of money for data centers. Excuse me. It doesn't take that long to pay that back. The other way to look at it is people are looking at on-site power generation. The problem with on-site power generation as a way to solve this problem is it's very expensive. You're talking $3,000 to $4,000 per kilowatt total install cost. The incremental cost of our chillers is about, I would say, a quarter to a third of that for the same amount of power unlocked for a data center. So it's much more, capital friendly, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, incredible. And so if people want to learn more, they can check out your website. Right?
Absolutely.
And find you here at DCD Virginia if they're watching this live or on LinkedIn. and incredible to learn about some of the really amazing technology that is on the market right now, including yours from Tecogen, to solve these challenges that everybody's talking about in the industry. So thank you for being
Awesome.
here with us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you to our viewers for hanging out with us for another live interview here at DCD Virginia. Happy networking, everyone. We'll see you soon for another interview. Hey everyone, welcome back for another JSA TV interview live here in Leesburg, Virginia for DCD Virginia, which is an amazing event that we're always so happy to be at. We are on day one here, and I am very excited to be joined by a new guest for us, but not a new company. We, of course, have had the pleasure of interviewing Relco many times in the past on JSA TV, but not you, Nicole, yourself. So, Nicole Dirkseide, you are Global Category Director of Large Power for Relco. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Candace. It's great to be here. And I agree. It's very exciting. There's a lot of energy
That's right.
here right now.
Yeah. And I've kind of been stuck in this little corner like we were talking about earlier, but I can see it, I can feel it, I can hear it. And as soon as we wrap up a couple more interviews, I'm going to take a lap around, which I'm sure you've done this morning
Absolutely.
already. Yeah.
Yep. I'm going to take a few more.
Yes. Awesome. Okay. Well, so let's get right to it. Can you tell us a little bit, because, our audience hasn't heard from you directly. Can you tell us a little bit about your role at Relco?
Absolutely. Yeah. As mentioned, I'm our global category director at Power Systems for Relco. And what that really means is I'm responsible for the product and the marketing side of all of our large diesel offerings. So 700 kilowatt and above, making sure we have the right product, the right solutions for our customers. And I've been with the company for 15 years.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So it's been really fun to be a part of that journey, growing into, right, as the data center space has exploded, being a part of that explosion.
Amazing. Well, they must be doing something right that, you've stuck around for 15 years. I know it's an awesome company to work for. Okay, so we know, of course, we're hearing a lot about the importance of backup power for data centers, but the maintenance routines kind of fall under the radar a little bit, right? Can you set the scene for us a little bit about how we exercise generators is so important?
Yeah, right. If you think about it fundamentally, right, a backup power generator, you can think of it like an insurance policy. And, right, you have your primary power, usually utility, although we're all getting more creative these days on what provides that primary power. But there's still times when that's going to go down, unforeseen or maybe even planned, right? So you want to have that backup power generator there in case of emergency. And so if you think of it as insurance policy, you want to make sure it's always going to start.
Yeah.
That is the intent. And just like that, think of your car, right? And if you leave your car sit in your garage for long extended periods of time and you walk out, you don't really expect it to start, right? It kind of needs to be maintained and certain things done. Backup generators are very similar. So, right, if they sit for very long extended periods of time with nothing being done to them, right, that you could be adding risk for the ability for them to start. So it's really important to maintain them, right? And traditionally, we've done, say, let's do a monthly exercise, and people will run them, and that's just giving you that assurance everything's operating, everything's working fine.
Right. Amazing. Very important. Okay. And then also, can you talk a little bit about your conscious care approach at Relco and what's different about that compared to the traditional routine that many operators are using right now?
Absolutely. With conscious care, we looked at how can we be smarter about doing maintenance. So sometimes it's, because we've always done it this way, this is what we always do. But the reality is behind the monthly maintenance and how they were exercised during that maintenance, there was a technical reason. However, that technical reason was based on 30, 40 years ago, not on some of the current technology we have today. So we revisited looking at the maintenance, also knowing that, right, when you get to doing maintenance, sometimes it can be a lot, right, just to do it monthly. And if you have 50, 60, 70 backup gensets on site, that's a lot to keep going, right, and doing every month, especially if you're going to do it under load. I'll talk about that in a second. Right, it can become a really big task to do. So we went back and revisited and looked at the technology with our KD series gensets. They're highly fuel efficient in their operation. And so we're able to offer what we call conscious care, which allows us to exercise the genset but not have load. So you can do it as an unloaded exercise. And the key there is with the prior technology and, right, kind of the way things are always done, you'd always put load. Typically, people said about 30% load because you want to make sure you get the entire exhaust system up to a high enough temperature that when there's excess fuel coming through the exhaust system that wasn't spent in the cylinder, that it's burning off and not building up and calling what we call wet stacking. But we have such high efficiency of fuel burn in the KD series that we're able to say you can run your exercise without any load. We're still going to recommend annually run with load, right, and just make sure the whole system has gone through that type of exercise. But now with conscious care, you have the option. You could do it monthly, or you could actually extend and go just every 4 months
Okay.
to do that exercise.
Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you. Yeah, that's great. Great to know about. And then also, there's a great number here that I want to read off. Relco has noted that there are up to 76% reductions in fuel use and carbon emissions with these updated maintenance programs that you offer. So, can you kind of walk us through what drives those savings and how they're translating at scale for these, massive sites that we're talking about these days?
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty exciting to hear that kind of percentage, right? And that savings is related to the maintenance and the exercise cycle. So as I mentioned, with conscious care, you don't have to operate with load. So now you're putting less load on the generator, which means you're consuming less fuel, right? And then you're also emitting less CO2 into the atmosphere with your emissions by having that no load. And again, if you go just every 4 months instead of every month, right, even less that you're actually running that gen set. So those savings can really add up over that year. There are other savings as well. Even if you think of that, we didn't account for the savings in the fact of it's less CO2 and other emissions with less fuel burn to produce that fuel,
Yeah.
right, and distribute. So just general lower consumption. And then also the savings for operators, right? You're not paying for that fuel. Depending how they have their testing set up, when they've done monthly with load bank, sometimes it's the rental of a load bank and bringing it on site, etc. So the savings can add up really fast.
Amazing. Well, great. The savings should have people's ears perking up, right? A little bit. So all of this has been fascinating. Thank you for sharing all of that with us, Nicole, and for joining us on JSA TV for the first time. You're a natural. And thank you to our audience for hanging out with us here live at DCD Virginia. Happy networking, everyone. We'll see you soon. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. A familiar face. We've got Sam Rabinowitz, CEO of Lantana LED, back with us in the hot seat today. Thank you for joining us again, Sam.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I rolled right into it. I didn't even say my intro. I'm Candace Cypos with JSA, and we're talking about the latest stories, trends, and innovations in the digital infrastructure industry. And Lantana LED is an interesting component of all of this because we're talking lighting, and we don't get to do that with anybody else today here at JSA TV. So
Excellent.
you, by definition, are a differentiator. You're in your own category today. So let's jump right in. So first question, what is the biggest mistake that data center operators are making right now when it comes to their lighting strategy?
Oh, yeah. So, by far, what we see as the biggest mistake these days is just with the sheer amount of pressure and speed that is required to keep abreast and to keep relevant in this industry. There are a lot of times that engineers, through force of schedules, just copy and paste specs from data centers that are, say, 20, 30 years ago. So they're pulling old fixtures or they're not really paying attention to those specs. And we're seeing a lot of legacy, specifications that really have more to do with, say, fluorescent lighting as opposed to LED lighting. So that's one of the big, pressure points that we're seeing. It's one of the big mistakes that we're seeing when it comes to the specifications themselves. On the operations side and on the ownership side, what we're generally seeing these days is that because of this onslaught, this incredible pressure that we talked about, it's really creating a situation where first cost is being talked about more than actual total cost of ownership. So what we like to do with our customers and with our prospective customers is we like to take a look at the spec that they may have gotten at some point that may have been written for a data center that was built 35 years ago, and say, here is how we're going to save you on energy costs over total cost of, total life cycle of this data center facility. And then here is how, yes, there may be a marginal increase on the upfront cost here, but you're going to save that in all of the various different ways across the total use of this data center. You're going to save it where you're not going to have to go in and replace light fixtures that fail because they're cheap. Yeah. You're going to save it in that these light fixtures are usually on average 10 to 15 to 20% more energy efficient than what you've originally specified in as just an off-the-shelf product that really wasn't actually designed for data center environments either. They were designed for, things like offices or other things like industrial facilities, and don't have that same unique operating requirement that data centers have.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, so classic case of don't do the thing you've always done just because you've always done it, right?
Right.
Rethink the strategy, see what's
Right.
out there on the market today because it's quite different.
Correct. Don't copy and paste.
Yes, love that. Love that. Sometimes copy and paste is great, not in this case.
Yeah.
Okay, so where would we be doing if we don't talk about AI? We have to talk about AI. So
Yeah.
how is the AI boom influencing lighting strategies and requirements for today's data centers?
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier the pressure that this market is feeling. Obviously, prior to the AI boom, it was the cloud boom. Prior to that, it was the, Internet 2.0 boom. Each of these booms are increasing that level of just sheer pressure to get these facilities up and, running, to convert that construction time into actual revenue generation themselves in the facilities. So what we're seeing a lot with our hyperscaler customers, with our wholesaler and co-location customers who are catering to these hyperscalers, is a real focus on prefabrication. And prefabricated hacks obviously have been around for a while, but now they're coming back in force because really it's the only effective way of achieving the scale and the speed in the time frame that we have. But what's new about this AI boom is that, and this is a huge step forward in my view, what's new about this is that now prefabricated hacks are incorporated all of the elements they possibly can into these prefabrication units. So that's busway, that's cable trays, that's piping for liquid cooling, and importantly to us, that's also lighting. And so we've designed a series of products that are specifically geared towards this prefabrication push that make it easier for the prefabricators themselves to install in the factory, that make it easy for the installers in the field to basically plug and play and just daisy chain and connect in without, costly labor, journeyman master electricians, without, costly supplies such as extra piping for, line voltage. All of that, we make it a lot easier with our products that are now geared towards that prefabricated hack.
Amazing. Well said as always. So last question, what is this? Ooh, this is a good one. Single most exciting innovation you're working on? That's a big question, I feel like, that you can talk about.
Oh.
I understand there may be some that you can't.
Yeah. I would say I'm going to take us to two innovations, if I may. And I know.
Two for one.
This is a twofer.
Yeah.
This is a twofer. One of the ways that we're responding to this extreme boom is through scaling our own manufacturing capacity. We've expanded our existing manufacturing capacity, and what we're doing right now as well, which is very exciting and is in the initial stages right now, is we're actually in design right now for a 70% automated factory, which is robotics driven, which is automated assembly with as light human touch as possible, as well as for fully vertically integrated as well.
Amazing.
So that's really exciting for us when we think about that. We're still in the early stages of this design, but that's a huge innovation, and we're looking at some patents around that as well. And then in addition, some of the other items that we're excited about in terms of product innovation, we're investing in increasing the energy efficiency yet again to remain at the forefront of the market. And then in addition to that, we're also designing these new products and have come out with these new products specifically geared towards the need now, which is the prefabricated hacks, and looking around that curve at the next of these innovation points, and we have some pretty exciting products that we can talk about at the next of these shows as well.
Yes. Well, we're in a rotation. We'll have you on again.
I love it.
Here soon. And
I love it.
We'll get an update. But yeah, automation. That's incredible.
Yes, and I will say one of the most exciting innovations. A third, apologies, and you guys had him on at, I believe, Yada as well. But one of our great innovations is that we have a new team member who's our director of strategic partnerships, a wonderful guy named Chris Cooper, and we are lucky that he has joined the team and are very excited by that innovation as well.
I love that. Wait. That's a great note to end on,
Yes.
too. So I feel like what a pro you are that you brought us to that moment. So everybody go check out that interview from Yada, and you can find it on JSA TV's YouTube channel. And thank you so much, Sam, for joining us again for another great chat. And I'm sure I will see you around over the next couple of days.
Indeed.
Here at DCD Virginia. And if you are here and you're seeing this live, check out Sam, go to LinkedIn. I'm sure you can connect here live in person.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you to all of our viewers as well for hanging out with us at DCD Virginia, and happy networking, everyone. We'll see you soon. Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another live interview here at DCD Virginia. We are in Leesburg, right outside of Data Center Alley, and I have a very special guest with me here. We've got Alexandra Bromson, Managing Director at Available Infrastructure. Hey, Alexandra. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm excited to jump into it. Of course, we are talking about the latest stories, trends, and innovations all day here from DCD Virginia Live on JSA TV. I'm Candace Ipos, your host, but we're just going to jump in here and hear from Available Infrastructure. So first of all, Alexandra, you started at Available not that long ago at the beginning of the year. So can you tell us a little bit more about why you were excited to join Available? What kind of drew you in?
Absolutely. So I spent about a decade working in sustainable infrastructure, and after that amount of time becomes kind of a small industry. So I actually crossed paths with Dan, the CEO of Available, working on a different project. Immediately, we noticed some synergies between what Available was building, my background, and I had wanted to move more into a tech-focused role. So the timing worked out, and I came over to Available now as managing director. So I handle origination, bringing in new customers. We focus on infrastructure operators, smart cities, and Available Infrastructure has a cutting edge, cyber secure, edge AI resilience solution where we're helping to secure the infrastructure for these operators, and I work to customize those solutions.
Amazing. Well said. Thank you. And so you talked a little bit about cyber security. So why does digital infrastructure need cyber protection? Just first of all, kind of set the stage for us there a little bit.
So in our modern world, every device that you can think of like cameras, traffic cameras, in-vehicle systems, networks, they represent an opportunity for a cyber attack. And as these connected networks expand and are more automated, we need a new approach to really secure those communications.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, nice and easy. And also, one topic that we wanted to talk about today is AI poisoning, which I'll be honest, I haven't really heard much about that. That's like a newer term to me. So I'm curious your take on what that is. Can you kind of introduce the audience to that from your perspective?
So AI poisoning is a serious cyber threat right now. So while these AI systems are being trained, attackers poison the data, thus affecting the decision-making capabilities of the system. So we have built a system on a national grade security zero trust network that trusts nothing, verifies everything, every device, every network, to make sure that that data is trusted AI protected.
Amazing. Well, that is super important, especially now with demand increasing and everything increasing in this industry right now, right? So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Anybody that has heard this and is interested in AI poisoning or any of these other topics we chatted about, if they're watching this live, they can find you here at DCD Virginia. Otherwise, you can find Alexandra on LinkedIn and, of course, check out Available Infrastructure online as well. So thank you all for joining us for another live interview here from DCD Virginia. Happy networking, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our last interview of the day, actually, here on day one of DCD Virginia. We are live in Leesburg. That has a fun ring to it. I should have been saying that all day. I'm Candace Sipos, your host today with JSA TV, and we're covering the latest stories, trends, and innovations in the digital infrastructure sector, as always. So I have a repeat guest with me today, Dr. Atif Ansar, Executive Chairman and co-founder of Foresight. Thank you for joining us again.
Pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. All right, let's dive right in. So you have said before that the best data center CEOs are realizing that time is just as important as capital, which is a great statement. I love that. So what does that actually look like? What does that shift look like? Why is that happening right now?
So, Candice, is a very, very good question. Speed is revenue in the data center industry like never before. So, for a 100 megawatt data center, opening on time means you basically start to generate about $15 million worth of revenue on that day. And that revenue, if you're late, is never going to come back in the 15-year lease structures that people have. So, time now is the currency for a data center CEO. And it used to be that people were optimizing for cost. There was a lot of cost control, but now that attention is shifting to optimizing for time and speed to market.
Perfect. Time is the currency. I love that. Okay. And when a project runs late, considering that time is the currency, what is really at stake for a data center operator?
So look, for operators, they really own the risk. On, as I mentioned earlier, time is revenue. So if they run late, that revenue is not going to come back. But apart from the revenue, they're also incurring quite a lot of costs because of that delay. Cost of capital, financing costs, inflation, standing army of people, material that's not being deployed, their own management costs, additional project management costs that they have to bear. So give or take, the iceberg is a 100 megawatt data center might lose about $15 million worth of revenue and roughly an equal amount of cost in terms of financing, inflation, idle equipment, standing army, so on and so forth. So it's really staggering. Basically, research by STL shows that a 3-month delay would blow out the IRR of a 15-year project. So time's become this very sensitive thing, which has very high impact, not just on the operators, but the entire ecosystem that's involved in that project.
Wow, those are some staggering numbers, like you said. So, last question: are we entering an era where investors value how fast you can deliver more than how much you can actually build?
Absolutely. So look, we've had a situation where data centers were accelerating. So the model was, for lack of a better word, a bit cowboy. So people were really, C-level was very focused on investors and customers, raising the money and getting that deployed as quickly as possible. Now we are in an even more accelerated phase, but we can't waste that capital that easily anymore. And we certainly cannot waste that time so easily. So what's happening is that CEOs of platforms are having to take a much bigger look on the inside of the organization, and instead of delegating the schedule or the construction to just the head of construction, they have to institute a degree of governance and look into it themselves on a monthly basis. So many of the best platforms have a monthly business review now, in which the CEO, along with other C-level like COO and even the chief revenue officer, sit down with the head of construction as well as the project directors and really analyze what's happening on site. This was not something that was being done 6 months ago. And now the platforms started doing it, investors are taking a similar view, because the platforms that are run in a very numerical way, like AirTrunk, like Aligned, are selling for very large sums of money, is because they're taking that very numerical approach to tracking their schedules, and platforms that are a bit less numerical are certainly facing a lot more distress. So now the Blackstones and the MGXs of the world are getting much more interested on the financial discipline and the time discipline of the platform teams that they're investing in.
Amazing. Yeah, there's so many great nuggets in there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And time is currency. That's one that I'm going to take back with me. And thank you for joining us again, Dr. Ramsar, on JSA TV. We'll catch you at the next event, I'm sure. Absolutely. And thank you to our viewers for hanging out with us here for our live interview stream from DCD, Virginia. Happy networking, everyone. We'll see you at the next event soon.
Thank you.